So does that kind of help answer the question, ma'am? Okay. It just always depends. Also, don't ever shoot pricing, which I'm actually going to go into here in a few. Don't ever mention pricing, because then you can screw up the ROI again and how much you're investing, things like that. And exploring and closing the sale, how would you feel if, I use an example of Realtors Law because that's the general audience that we have here. But how would you feel if you were a customer and a realtor was selling to you, went through Twitter, sent you a message for everybody to see and said, are we going to sign that contract today? Are we going to close that deal today? How would you feel?
I would feel that they just violated their broker duties.
Exactly. You feel like they're probably a little bit lazy. Probably feel like they could have done more to help you out. So I never recommend actually closing a sale through Twitter. Kind of ironic, but at the same time, there are certain things that can actually be closed on Twitter. If the price is low and the product is not one of those of high value, and by high value, I'm not talking about a high-end phone, or I'm talking about a high-end phone, a high-end home. Like, those things have high value, so just don't try to close them on Twitter. But let's say, for example, if it's like a sandwich that's really good. Hey, grab one today. That's a perfect close. Let's see another one. Grab your drink today. Order your pizza on Domino's.com today. That's a straight close. You can close the sale for small products like that. Not large investments. I don't recommend that on closing on Twitter. So, any questions? Make sense?
And you did that with the roses.
I've closed on flowers.
Exactly. Closing flowers is a perfect example of how the value is very high and the pricing structure is very high, but how long do flowers?
Not. It's not very
I'm a sales professional, so that's what I say. But at the same time, a set of flowers versus a new car. What's going to have more value? Obviously, a new car. So that's a perfect example.
Well, it might take a lot.
Moving on. Yes,
If
ma'am.
you have a car and your hubby sends you flowers.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
Send your hubby.
Isn't there some kind of rule about who can't put prices out there and give out information in real estate?
That's
Like
a
if you're on Twitter, how do we know that that's coming from the licensed broker?
that I apologize. That's actually not a question for me to answer because I'm.
I
not
can
that
jump in for just
industry.
a second. I don't want to
Okay.
diverge off of this. Yeah, we've got broker license laws that we have to follow. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them in the industry that are not following the rules, and it's kind of mucking things up and making those of us that are look really bad. In any business, no matter what your business is, you have some kind of standard of ethics and professionalism you want to maintain. And in some cases, with the fact of real estate and financial advisors and things like that, we actually have laws that dictate. That's not to say that people aren't doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Well, and also too, I'd seen a feed of folks from selling to NF homes and they put 99,000 3 baths, two bedrooms and things like that. What is more beneficial for a buyer to see a tweet or to actually see the house in video and in pictures and physically go out there? So, yeah.
Yeah, and plus you don't know if that person just very quickly within the next few minutes got a letter from the commission telling them, I'm gonna zing you.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they will do that.
Yeah. You don't know if the the commission's on Twitter or anything like that too.
Yeah, because the commission audits a lot of places that you don't expect to see them. And if you don't follow the rules,
Yeah.
frequently you'll get an email calling you down on it.
Yeah. So, are we good on time?
Yep.
Okay.
I think, I don't even know what time it is. I just agreed to it.
6:37.
Oh, wow, we're
Peter?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
you're doing good.
Rule number 3, never shoot out pricing or advice. Some of you might wonder why I'm saying that, but because you, as a salesperson, have gone through training, have gone through many years of education, many hours of investing in knowing your craft, and really cultivating your craft. And I overemphasize this enough because not only have I been very guilty of this, but I've seen a lot of future entrepreneurs lose potential dollars because they're giving their advice out there to the public. Now, there is a common thing, and it's kind of public relations related, but at the same time, it's always good to position yourself as the expert. There's no doubt about that. you'll more so trust a doctor that is an expert in the medical field than your mom when it comes to finding out if you have cancer, right? But at the same time, you're paying the doctor for that advice. So that's why I always recommend, if you're on Twitter, don't shoot out pricing and don't find out, or don't give out advice, because that's where you're losing out on the opportunity to close on a business sale. So that's one thing. Also, if you have pricing, you can probably take a phone book and count how many attorneys are out there in the phone book, right? There's tons. But of course, every attorney has a different fee sometimes. I don't know if it's the best example, but of course their fees are going to be different. They're going to be working on a different pricing structure. So if all the attorneys shot out their pricing, well, how do you know which one's the best? You're going to go for the cheapest one. But is that the person that's going to give you the best consultation advice? You're more susceptible to criticism if you're shooting your pricing on Twitter, and less likely to be closing a sale because you're not even given an opportunity to explain, while your pricing, even if it's the most expensive, you have the best value for that customer. Does that make sense? And pricing, though, like I said, it will be susceptible to criticism. Oh, that's way too expensive. I can get that cheaper. Or I have a coupon for blah, 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 blah. So someone's going to set your value. And the one thing which I'm sure everybody's gone through as a salesperson is, I've just lost control of my sale. I've just lost control of how things are supposed to happen with this client. You don't want to lose that control. And it's very easy to lose that if you accidentally send the wrong message on Twitter. So that's my advice. Don't shoot out pricing, and don't shoot out your free advice. Most importantly, you don't want to undervalue your product. Your product can be an actual physical cup of Coke, your service and consultation advice. You don't want to undervalue that by shooting out the pricing. And you don't want to be susceptible to discounts, which I'm guilty of it myself. But you got to do what you got to do to make sure that you get that commission that's going to bring the bread and butter for your family. That's the goal. So that's that. Any other questions? No? Maybe? Okay. Rule number 4. You, as a sales professional, are not an advertisement on Twitter. And I say that because there's a lot of folks out there that shoot out information. And what do? Tune them out. Why? Because on average, about 3,000 advertising messages are shot out every day. Your toothpaste, your Coke bottle, your billboard that you see, the TV commercial, the radio commercial that you hear. 3,000 advertisements per day the average person sees. Why should you see another one on the type of tool that you're just trying to get information from?